Hello. Can you hold your breath forever? I can't. I tried. A lot. And if you can hold your breath forever, how do you know you can hold your breath forever? It hasn't even been forever yet. And that is exactly why I was so blown away at an article I read last week. Let's step back in time and I'll tell you all about it. I was off doing my normal Sunday morning activities, dumpster diving, when I found this really cool old steel cart. I brought it home with absolutely no plan because I'm a hoarder. Not like a dead cats under a pile of old newspapers hoarder, more like a dead cats under a pile of building supplies kind of hoarder. If that makes sense? Anyway, I got home, unloaded it, and came up with an idea right away. I'm going to make it into a rolling industrial style coffee table. I wasn't sure how tall the average coffee table was, so I decided to look it up. While I was looking up how tall the average coffee table was, I got distracted by Google autofill. How tall is Tom Cruise? That's a good question. I was shocked to find out I was an inch taller than him. And that led me to wonder what other things I was better at than Tom Cruise. Next thing I knew, I was looking up all the craziest Tom Cruise facts that I could find. And that's when I found bestlifeonline.com, which had an article titled, The 50 Craziest Tom Cruise Facts. Most of them weren't that crazy, but one in particular blew my mind. They were claiming that he could hold his breath forever. These are facts? I wasn't sure what could lead to such a crazy accomplishment, but I was determined to find out. But first things first, I needed to see if I could hold my breath forever. 33 seconds. Not great, but it left me with lots of room for improvement. About an hour and a half later, after trying to hold my breath forever, I finally gave up and decided to get back to work on the project. I found out that the average coffee table is anywhere between 12 and 24 inches tall, which is great because just like Tom Cruise, this thing is short. Burn. The whole time I was working on this project, I couldn't stop practicing holding my breath. I would not recommend doing that while you are using power tools. It was not a good idea. The first thing I had to do was figure out how many 6x6s I was going to need to fill in this base. I traced out the exact line of the base and cut this sheet of plywood so that it would fit perfectly inside the tray on the base. After that, I could put this piece of plywood on the bottom of my 6x6s and using a fucking ton of screws, screw this piece of plywood to the bottom of all of the 6x6s. And voila! I flipped it back over and up and onto the cart. And now it was time to cut the edges square. Using my speed square and my T-square, I was able to get a nice straight line on both sides. I used 3 saws to cut these beams. I bet Tom Cruise wouldn't even need a saw at all. He'd probably use his laser eyes or something cool like that. Once I got these beams cut to the right length, I decided to call it a day and head inside. But sleep would not come easy for this restless mind. I needed answers. Was Tom Cruise magical? Could he be a wizard? Alright, maybe he's not a wizard. Then I stumbled upon the Church of Scientology. Ever heard of it? According to this website, the Church of Scientology believes that their most famous celebrity convert, Tom Cruise, has telekinetic and telepathic powers. And let me tell you, if you have telekinetic and telepathic powers, you probably have the power to hold your breath for fucking ever. The next morning, I went back outside, but now I had a new reason to finish this table. Tom Cruise has an operating thetan of 8. And for those of you who don't know what that means, I don't actually really know either. It's something to do with Scientology, and the higher number you have, the more powerful and enlightened you are. Anyway, I can only imagine that this is the reason he's able to hold his breath forever. So I decided if Scientology comes along with superpowers, I'm in. So now I've been researching Scientology quite a bit. And it turns out, it's fucking expensive. The first thing you need to do is reach clear, which sounds horrifying, but that's $128,000. And then another $35,000 on top of that to reach operating thetan of 3. And an additional $100,000 to $130,000 to reach operating thetan 8. This all sounds very expensive, but it's a small price to pay for superpowers. So, I'm gonna need a lot more people to subscribe to this channel. Or maybe somebody could buy this rolling coffee table for $300,000? Anyway, I know I didn't talk about this project much, but I think it was pretty obvious there were some more important things going on here. Thanks so much for watching. See you in the next one.
Bye, see you again, and have a good dream.
Church of Scientology, New York.
Hi, I'm interested in getting involved with the Church of Scientology, but I don't know where to start, and I also was just curious if it's really as expensive as I'm seeing online.
We have a lot of different services. You pay on a per service basis, so it depends on the service that you're talking about.
Okay.
It's gonna sound insane, but I saw online that Tom Cruise can hold his breath forever. Is that true?
I don't know, you should ask him.
Well, I would, but I don't know how to get hold of him. I guess I'm on hold.